Hey guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to this reading for September and October relationship compatibility. You guys know what sign I'm reading for, but I don't yet. So let's take a look and I'll find out with you. And then here I'm going to pick the element that we're going to read. So I'm going to circle these around, and so next week we'll do another round for every single sign. The sign we're reading for today is Cancer. Cool. Okay. Low-key, you guys did get chosen before, but there was a problem with the video, and each time I want to start like from the beginning so that it doesn't, I don't Mickey Mouse it, right? So if something goes off, then it kind of ruins that. And in fact, you had Cancer water as well. So Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, high cross watchers, sun, moon, and rising. Please leave a comment. It's good karma. It's nice. I put a lot of effort into this. I just need to set your charts manually because my computer broke. So just be patient with me. For your sign, there's no transits this month, but that doesn't mean that nothing's going on. I think you are going to have a nice month. You know, all these transits in Capricorn are kind of funny on Cancer. They have this kind of, how do you say, they have this kind of quality to them that creates tension for your sign because you're both cardinal signs. So here we are. So Cancer with Cancer, I don't really have too much to say in terms of astrology, except be aware that in your partnership house you have transits like Pluto, Saturn, and Mars going direct. So there's going to be a lot of emphasis placed on partnership issues with any kind of Cancer that you're interacting with, because these Cancer is opposite to Capricorn, and so Capricorn light from any object gives light to yourself. It's a reciprocal relationship. Sorry, I should keep on like there. So no matter what is in the 7th house, there's a huge influence on your 1st house. Okay, so let's take a look at your transits, at your cards. Sorry, I put them away, so I was trying to salvage this reading. So here we go. So this is the Syrian. Can you hear my stomach gurgle? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we have the Syrian Seed Tarot. So let's look at your cards. You can see I have a Cancer Venus, right? So you have the Seeker of Chalices. That's me. Hey. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or a new relationship that is emerging between you and another Cancer. It can be romantic, but it can be very, very friendly. Two Cancers together who trust each other, who have a good vibe together. A really wonderful connection. You know, they're very much like, I trust you, bro, and you're like, I trust you as well. So you're kind of out of the spotlight this month in terms of transits and things that are going on around you. So I feel like in some way you get to enjoy being on the sidelines. There it goes again. Being on the sidelines in order to kind of accentuate your relationship and enjoy each other's company. So the world leaves you alone, which you guys kind of like. 7 of Flames, sticking up for yourself. Maybe there's been a little bit of discussion. Every relationship has a power dynamic to it. Maybe you guys are working some of that out. Here is Sage of Orbs, the Queen of Swords. Okay, so okay, so I feel like whatever is meant to be fair in this relationship will happen in a fair and just manner. So whoever is right, and which you only understand with your Cancer friend or relationship, girlfriend, boyfriend, I think things will work themselves out. This is the Queen of Separation and Divorce, but I don't see it here. I see that there's a little bit of like things are improving and justice is coming in your favor. Here is the next message: expectancy. So maybe something that you've been waiting for to happen. Maybe you've been waiting for the other Cancer, or maybe they've been waiting for you to in some way do something, say something, give a clue that they understand, that kind of stuff. Let's take a look at your Doreen Virtue cards. Release your ex. Time has come to release your energy. maybe one of you is caught up on someone else and there's a new relationship. If this is a new relationship, one or both of you may be caught up on a past relationship. And so maybe you need to come to terms with that. Maybe they need to come to terms with that. Maybe you've been waiting for them to figure it out, and they really need to put the past in the past because there's this new relationship. If you're just friends, it could be also that you're friends and your friend keeps on being upset about someone from 10 years ago, and you're like, come on, okay, let's move it along, you know, in a sympathetic way. You just don't want to see them suffer. Or maybe you are really having a hard time releasing someone from the past, so it's really time now to put it in the past, put it behind you. Okay, sorry about my tummy. I'm not hungry, it just does that sometimes. So anyway, so next we have Scorpio. So Cancer and Scorpio, wonderful connection together. And the 5th house is Scorpio for you. Venus is here, Jupiter is here. It's very romantic if you guys are in a couple. If you're not in a couple, if this is a friendship, platonic, or if this is your child, then these are really the sweet times of your relationship through this 2 months, okay? So in terms of transits, not much going on. Well, there's a lot going on. Venus moves into Scorpio on the 9th. And then we have also Mercury moving into Scorpio on the 9th of October. So yeah, certain transits going on, communication goes up. This is the last 2 months of Jupiter in Scorpio, so really enjoy your romantic time with all the signs, okay? Let's take a look at so here they are, a King of Cups. This could be you, or it could be them, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Super romantic. This is water and air, so kind of lots of ideas, lots of creativity, lots of planning. We have reflection, which is the Hermit. So maybe this has been a time in which there's been a withdrawal. Maybe you've withdrawn together and separated yourselves from the world. If you have been waiting for that person to come back to you, then I feel like you should not be upset about the fact that they are not with you. Then there is this card, Justice. So I feel like things will become fair for you, and there will be understanding, and there will be reconciliation with regard to the reasons why there would be separation. I feel like it's so intense right now that maybe there needs to be a separation. There needs to be, you know, there had to be distance, and now I feel like it's coming to an end. So this was the past, this is the present, this is the future. So I think Libra is coming into your life, or balance and order is coming into your life. The next message is reflection. So you're thinking really hard about this relationship. You're considering all the different options. If this is not a sun, moon, rising Scorpio, then this is someone with really heavy Scorpio traits, and there is that loving energy. You're overwhelmed by it, you know, the motion of the ocean, swimming in the ocean of emotions. And I think that maybe they're trying to understand how things are, or what things are all about. Here is the next message. We have release your ex. It's time to come clear your energy. Didn't we say this for Cancer as well? So it's like telling you, Cancer, let go, let go, let go of the past, because Pluto is in your 7th house, which is affecting you, but it's affecting you, right? Like it's things that happen to you, but it's also the things that you do. So maybe in some way it's time to move past things and work them out. Think about how everything's interconnected, about which way you're going and what it all means to you. Maybe this is a learning lesson in this relationship, a learning lesson that will align you to be more ready and more prepared for other relationships in the future. This could be also alignment within the relationship. So it's not saying that necessarily a relationship has broken down, but I think that there's insight into circumstances. There's insight into situations. And so I feel like there is like a push and pull again You know, for you, you have this opposition to Pluto and Saturn in your 7th house of partnership, and there's a big push in that direction. So you are very, very rigorously pushing towards partnership energetically right now. And a lot of things are like a tank with you in terms of relationships. Like low-key Cancer pushes really hard in relationships, and they don't really let anybody know or see it. But if you're in a relationship with a Cancer, you know you're either on or off, and it's very clear as to what that means. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at your relationship with Pisces, okay? So relationship with Pisces, we have Neptune in Pisces in the 9th house, right? So let's take a look at the cards. So Cancer and Pisces are in a good... I was just absorbing that message because it was really strong, hey? So I feel like there is a natural understanding between Pisces and Cancer, and I feel like Pisces are bringing in for Cancer a lot of like opportunity. Neptune is in Pisces and in a really good aspect to Jupiter right through September. Not so in October, but in October Venus forms a really nice angle to Neptune for a minute before she turns retrograde. She turns retrograde on October 5th in Scorpio. So what that's going to create for you is like positive energy flow in order to making connections with Pisces. We have the 2 of Flames. That got really weird. And then the 3 of Crystals. And then we have the Seeker of Chalices again. Okay. So I think it's like you're in the fork in the road. And it's funny because I almost forgot to do the 3rd reading today, and it was like it was weird energy all around, but I'm going to keep it because I think it's necessary, and whoever gets affected positively by these messages, just let me know, because like I feel like we hit on something. You know, readings are all like describing things, trying to find situations or whatever, understanding, and I feel like you're kind of trying to hit the wall or figure out the circumstance, and sometimes you just hit it. You can't guarantee that you're going to hit something. I think there's some deep messages in all of these signs today. So we have the 2 of Flames, the 3 of Crystals, and the Seeker of Chalices. Maybe a vision with regard to work associated with a Pisces. This could be a romantic or non-romantic relationship, but I think that like a new friendship is budding, even if it's in a professional setting. I think that there's a really good understanding. On the bottom is the Mystic, someone who deeply understands circumstances on a thematic level, which means the themes and the metaphors that you're living through. The Mystic is able to kind of comprehend at high vibrations. Here is the next message. We have the card of listening. So that's been also a message that's been coming up a lot in these readings. I think it's important to kind of get connected and listen to the world around you. Be receptive to whatever it brings. The more receptive you are, the more free you are in this relationship. Here is your Romance Angels card. Let's see. So we have it's safe for you to love. Yeah, I think that this is like in terms of the water signs, I think your best bet this month and in October is Pisces. Open your heart and give and receive the highest energy of all. The other 2 were very turbulent, and this one was like harmonious and peaceful and nice. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I know this one was weird, but still give me a like. I really appreciate the likes and their good karma. Anyway, I love doing these readings for you. We'll be back next week with the other elements. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye. Hey Cancer, thank you for joining me, and welcome to this reading for the latter part of 2018. I have something really funny to tell you. I just did like 3 minutes of the reading, and I wasn't mic'd properly. Like my mic was like somewhere really far away, and so... And then I was like so proud of myself for the things I told you, and then it wasn't even recorded properly. So it would have sounded like I was on the opposite end of the room. This is the reading for the entire year. that reading is still available on YouTube, and you can link it down below. And then if we kind of open up and see, I did some other readings. I did two astrological readings, one for January through June and one for July through December. Both are available and are linked down below. And then I also did another reading on Instagram, which was an astrological wheel reading and with tarot cards, and then I did a clarifier for that on Vimeo, so you guys can rent that to support me in the channel. And then if that Instagram post reached 500 hearts, then I would release some, if not all, of those Vimeo readings on YouTube for free. So you can support me or the channel, or you can hold your money and wait until they become available, okay? So by the time you're watching this reading, most likely that video is out in part or in whole, okay? So this is for the summary. I'm going to go through this now. So I talked about the astrology. The astrology readings this year are a supplement, so they're about 10 to 15 minutes long each, and they go over the transits that I'm talking about in general, so you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to focus on that in these tarot card readings. I find that that's distracting for a lot of people, and I like to be focused on the cards. In order to summarize the whole overview for the reading, to get on track in the right direction, it's important to note that in 2017 and before, there's really big things that were holding you back. There was a sense of control in the situation that you've been dealing with, or situations that you have been dealing with. There's been a lot of upsets. You have lost agency in your own life, and in 2018 you're pushing ahead away from that. You're moving ahead. Life is changing. You're going your own way, and there's a lot of empowerment. This is the outcome card. It's the Magician card. So it's really about making things happen and putting things together in the way that they're meant to be. There could be a lot of marriages with Cancer type people, and a lot of opportunity to grow beyond that which you are. So right now we're between the Sun and Temperance in terms of timeline. So this is the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth. The fourth one brings strength, which I think is personal empowerment, but also passion. It is Leo, so all things Leo in the fifth house. The fifth house is amazing, you know. It's the house of joy, happiness. It's the house of sex, romantic sex, and Jupiter is in your fifth house. So yeah, so that's okay. That's right here. And then we have the seventh house, which is the big showstopper for this year, particularly in the latter part of the year. This is a chart for July 12th. There's going to be a lot of focus on this. Mars has moved past Capricorn in the seventh house, but he'll dip in back at the end of summer, and we'll have another conjunction. So everything from late spring to early fall, there's a heightened focus in your life on partnerships in general. So why don't we move forward? Well, if you want more details on this reading, there is the full reading linked down below for free on YouTube. So that's still relevant. It's a whole year reading. It's the major one that I do every year for everyone. Okay, so that's the deal, yo. And now let's take a look at your focused reading for the latter 6 months of the year, specifically July through December, but give or take a month or two. So I'm using the Tarot of Dreams, and then I'll later clarify with the Cosmic Tarot. Why don't we? So this is a different way of reading. You guys have already seen this style with me before. I did the December reading for you guys this way using this deck. So yeah, it's this method. So this is not my spread, but it's a spread that I kind of really enjoy, and I was taught, and it's really fun. It uses the whole higher arcana, which I do like to use for these long range forecasts, because they're just long-term trends. So your first card is, sorry about a little glare, we have the Chariot, okay, and then we have the Hermit. Now I'm not going to, hopefully the glare will die down. It usually does once more cards are on the table. So the Priestess, the Magician, okay, the Wheel of Fortune. This is a really good start. Hold on, am I running out of space? Okay. And then we have the Fool. It's funny that I said that. I've been really on point with these readings. Let's see. The next, and the Faith card, like I'm literally calling the cards before I pick them, or they come up in conversation right before they show up. So the Moon, Temperance, and Star, Justice, at the center Libra, Cancer, Fairness and Order, Judgment. Really good card for this position. Ooh. Okay. And then the World. And then Emperor. Hey girl, hey, this is a really good sign that there is a marriage that's coming up for Cancers. The Sun. Okay. Having too much in this position, it's neat. It's interesting in this spot right there. Happiness and fun overtaking and distracting you from things that you need to do. 6. There could be a Capricorn who's very interested in you, Cancer. Okay. 2 Lovers. Cancer, a boyfriend and a husband. Hey, be careful, they'll lead to bad things. There's the Death card. Change and transformation. Huge decision. Wow. Okay. And then, ooh, huge decision, an opportunity to clarify the outcome is the Strength card. Your personal strength is going to get you through these situations, whatever they come up. And it's not a bad year by any means. By any means. See, it clarified. You can see it now. Okay, and this is a popular deck, so you guys can find all the cards online if they're not clear. But I think it shows up pretty well. Okay, so we have balance and order in your life, and this is concerning you having to make significant changes in your life. You have to cut yourself off of situations, branch out, and then also learn the lessons that life has been trying to pound into your head that you've been resisting, so much so that you may push your life into extreme experiences that will force you to get in line. Look, we have the Hierophant, the Emperor, and the Empress here. Do you recall in the first reading? Go back to the beginning of this video where I have the spread. It's literally the Emperor, Empress, and the Hierophant. So Hierophant is the tradition card in the other deck. That's the card of marriage. So there is probably in July, there is a marriage that is coming together, or maybe this is concerning a Leo person with whom you're going to connect with and find love. I just think it's happening. I think there's a huge shift and transformation. Something that was taken for granted is totally transformed. And in fact, life is bringing you a lot of happiness. Now, in this position, it's kind of funny. These 2 cards are really making me laugh, and they're distracting me, but they're good. They're good. In this position, this is probably, hopefully, a Scorpio is coming into your life who's going to make a positive influence and improve your life for the better. You're getting better. You're getting better, and your circumstances are getting better. And your circumstances are getting better, and there's someone who's giving you some type of very good care, nurture. There's happiness. There's a change. These are huge cards right here. The Judgment, the Death card, and the Tower. I can't even... The energy is so strong in this area of your life, and this is the oncoming energy for the latter part of the year. I mean, it's really coming on strong. The world is centering it and grounding it. Total change and transformation as you build community, you know, as you make that path, a new beginning with love, a new beginning with true family connections. I think that's really the key that you've been waiting for. Not that you need someone to rescue you, but I feel as though this situation is actually enabling you to be that which you were always meant to be, and you had to develop a part of that on your own. You had to work that out for yourself, and then the right person comes in, maybe very well a Scorpio. Pluto is right here, last judgment and decisions. But that persists, that decision persists, the decision persists, and you're going to branch off into the world, and there's going to be some type of higher calling that brings you into a relationship, or brings you into some kind of congruency with both masculine and feminine energies. Okay, those are huge things. There's like a legacy here that's guiding you, a legacy that's guiding you in the directions of your life, like a family legacy. Blood is thicker than water, that kind of stuff is going on. There's also I'm looking at this trifecta here, the Magician, the Lovers, and Temperance. There wasn't a spark that happened for you in the past in some way that is a precursor to what's manifesting now. And so that spark was like a promise of a marriage, promise of love, and that's really coming into fruition. The balance needs to be, it's a very balanced reading. There's a supreme harmony here. There's a supreme harmony in terms of the things that have to happen and the things that are happening. In this position, there's like a total transcendent soulmate thing that's coming through. It's bigger than you, and it's bigger than anything that you can control. And I think that if you sit long enough, if you sit carefully enough, you can see and understand it, or perceive it for yourself. Now, everybody's different in terms of their ability, and in terms of like how good they are at picking up on energies and stuff, but I do think that everyone can kind of sense that there's more that is going on in our lives, and there's a hand in your process right now, and at certain times we feel more agents, we have more involvement in terms of how we control it, and sometimes there is more of a release to some other matrix, right, some other energy field. I feel as though maybe your mother is getting a little old this year. You feel that energy getting old. You feel the age onsetting, into an archetypal form. That doesn't mean anybody's going to pass. It doesn't mean, it's just you sense that age, and you sense the time ticking away, and moving situations. And I feel as though that is in some way has been holding you back, because you sense the energy of progress, of time that no one can hold back. Now, we try to have so much power and control in our lives, and sometimes those things are outside of our hands of control. Sometimes these things are like the time ticking, people getting aging and stuff. They're literally, it will continue to happen, and there's no control that we can have over that area of life. Okay? And so I feel as though you're moving from a place in which personal strength was elusive, completely elusive. It seemed like a different sort of energy, and you're moving towards this kind of, this is who I am. And I think the alignment is very strong between the Emperor and the Strength card. There's a really strong push from both, or one or both people, to become that which they're meant to be. There's this expectation within a relationship that one or both parties are going to be very high in terms of their effort towards their own life, the quality of life that they're living, the quality of the experience that they are having, right? And so I feel as though you're connecting with someone who has a lot of personal power. This is a person who's very well connected, or someone who has a lot of ability to change your world or anyone's world with whom they have a connection with. This is someone who can instill a lot of change in other people's lives, but this can also be a metaphysical energy and metaphysical ability to positively influence people around them and lift them up and move them to better situations. So it's like when you're around certain people, they just stimulate you and they help you step into the flow of high vibration, or the ability to achieve more than when you are apart. It's not just support. It's not like just emotional support or a shoulder to cry on. It's just pure energy of support and pure energy of support, and a pure ability to in some way just influence through their presence. Okay. Yeah, there's a strong desire to pass judgment on a situation, to move into a circumstance where you want to explore the world, I think. And I think that your mind is broadening up. Neptune is in your 9th house of philosophy. That's a naturally very strong position for Neptune. So consciousness, world consciousness. But there's also this kind of desire to have a sexual connection, to have a sexual connection and a groundedness for your desire. There's strong overtones in this reading of sexuality, of connection, and there is going to be a lot of opportunity for you to build that area of your life. Now that can be, on a personal level, depending what your comfort zone is or what your situation is. But for many of you, this is going to represent actual connection with another person, sexual connection, sex, and a lot of passion. Now, there's a warning in that, because there could be a level of intimacy that represents family unity and harmony, but I feel as though if you have to ask yourself a question when you're walking into a sexual relationship this year. Ask yourself if this is going to last, and really sit with yourself and think and ask if you want it to last. I'm assuming that you want a long-term relationship, and I feel as though for some of you, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a surprise in a situation where you feel as though something's really solid, and then you may even become a single parent. But even in that, even if you even choose to be a single parent, if that happens to you, if the unexpected happens and you're dealt a blow where you have to take on more responsibility than you set out for, I think there will be someone still who catches you. And so it feels like there's two people, particularly two men. And one is more a Mars type, a romance one. And then the second one is more always gearing up for like a sacred marriage, Sacred marriage means like they're not looking for like a sexual relationship particularly. They're looking for trust and hope and someone who is fair and decent, right? And that doesn't mean that there won't be sexuality in that relationship. It's like, but what draws them in is a higher thing. It's, something, with higher aspects to it. Having said that, I feel as though this can be, it's almost like it's meant to happen, because these are all higher arcana cards. This looks like like you're making a false decision. I think you're making a false decision because you're just in a hurry. You're in a hurry to get nowhere, right? And I think you get mad at the circumstances, and you're a little stir crazy, to be frank. And I think that from that stir crazy energy, somebody's going to come through and swoop you off your feet, and then boom, the tower, and then the tower baby. It's like you realize that that person is different than what you had thought. But yeah, so this person is prone to tell you whatever you need to be told. But I think that you'll also make a decision to branch out into the world and travel and when you do travel, I think that you'll truly find yourself. I think that you're more outward reaching this year. So let's clarify for a few minutes with the Cosmic Tarot. Let's clarify the Justice card. We have the Princess of Wands, a Sag, Leo, or Aries. So I feel as though there's been some shots fired at you in the past from a Sag, Leo, or Aries. Somebody put you in a spiritual box, and you're like, oh, I need to get out of this situation. Let's see. So yeah, there's a really good time in terms of home and family life. There's a really good connection with regard to home and family life. There's this ability to connect with the appropriate person and have support in the appropriate way. There's sincere compassion. And I feel as though it comes from the appreciation that people and situations pass, and situations can be abrupt. This is people who have experienced death. If you've experienced a significant loss of a life in your life, such as a partner or someone who is extremely close to you, and we all will at certain points, then you learn to really appreciate connections and other humans. There's this an appreciation that people who haven't lost family members have a harder time grasping. Not that it's not understandable, but I think that once you experience it, you feel it quite strongly. I feel as though there's someone who has been frustrated with you, Cancer, the Prince of Swords, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. And I feel as though this person is out for blood, or out for not necessarily like a horrible thing like blood and carnage, but more like they could be upsetting relationships and situations for you this year. Especially with Lilith, right? In July, and then maybe some August. Really, there could be an appearance of, this person is your enemy, and they're upsetting your balance and order. And I feel as though that's something that this person is gunning for. They're angry, or they're offended, or they're the type of person that if you try them, they're like vicious. And I feel as though that's what's happening. And I feel as though there's a huge transformation with regard to the Hermit. Here we have the Hermit and Hermit. Maybe Virgo situations. There's huge decisions that are being made, and huge decisions about your life that are being made. And I think that you're making the choice to either go into a new project on your own, or buddy up with a Hermit type, where there is some kind of situation that's going on between you and them, but you don't necessarily welcome that person in your life any further. Okay, let's see the Magician. This is a really powerful card to clarify the Magician, because imagine the Magician throwing those rods, the perfect potential. This is Eight of Wands, love. There's a crafter of words, someone who speaks words very well and in a specific way that procures for them certain situations. That's a type of manipulation, but sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's not. But you're dealing with someone who has the gift of tongue, the gift of the ability to express whatever it is that is necessary to bring cohesion to situations. Let's see. The The moon got the Wheel of Fortune. So any feelings about, I feel as though you need to really follow and honor your feelings of doubt and worry in situations. It's almost like a point of healing for you to a certain degree. That point of healing that you're meant to experience in order to liberate yourself and have a better life. Let's see. Queen of Cups. So there is a Scorpio energy that is in some way trying to, I feel as though somebody's trying to get something out of you. If it's sex, for many of you, but for other people, it could be a female. If you're heterosexual female, then it could be just a friend, but someone who has they have an agenda, and you want to be wary of people who are approaching you with an agenda. Then we have the Devil clarified. So you're clinging to broken hearts from the past. You're a little bit too sentimental. I always call it the squish. I'm super sentimental, and sometimes I wonder if I just would get on with things if life didn't go a different direction, right? Not that I'm unhappy with my life, but you know what I mean. You just wonder if it's better to be more dismissive. And then we have the Six of Pentacles here. So there is going to be physical reciprocity, financial gain in the situation. I feel as though you're getting a payout or payoff. I did get the D card on the bottom. I saw that card, so I'll honor it. But yeah, there's some kind of offer, maybe to do with the home and family. And yeah, there's like a closening of a bond. Anyway, Cancer, let's pick one more for the Magician. We have the Queen of Swords. So this could be a woman, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, who is managing the situation and managing it well. I hope that you guys have a wonderful July through December. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk with you soon. Take care, Cancer. Bye. Hi, Capricorn. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to your horoscope spread. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope you have a wonderful 2019. This is your overview reading for the horoscope spread. So basically what I will do is pull the cards that will be for you this year. We have our first one, and then I will show you an example of what you will find on Vimeo. Every year I do this spread, and basically what I do is I pick the cards here for you guys, and then we'll move over to Vimeo, where you guys can rent a specific reading for each of these positions. Each position covers an area of your life, as well as a month of the year. So it's kind of a good way to kind of figure out exactly what is going on for you every month and so forth, as well as every area of your life. So this first card, this first position, represents January and the self. So that's how that works. Anyway, okay, so I have all your cards. Are you guys ready? If you can kindly leave comments and like on the video, that will greatly help it grow, especially if you're watching next year sometime in June or January. That will be very helpful for the video. So just make sure to like and comment, and we'll get on from there. So here is your core energy for 2019. Your core energy is that of Libra, or adjustment. Now, in terms of Libra transits, there's not many in 2019. However, Libra rules your 10th house, so this area, which coincides with career and public matters. So we'll break this down for you in just a minute, but let me go through each of the houses, and then we will kind of talk about what each represents. So the first house has to do with career. It's also to do with your month of January. So you have first the Art, or the Temperance card, taking it slowly and steady. In this area of your life, there will be a lot of transits, not only this year but also next year. This is the first house of Capricorn, so Sun, Moon, and Rising. This applies to you, but the first house is Capricorn, which means that whatever energy that you are taking on, you're really taking your time with it, and that's a good thing. So this is also for January, So you'll get the January video on Vimeo if you want more clarity on that. The second house has to do with finances. There's not too many massive transits. By the way, I will do a dedicated astrological video for that. Ooh, good. Okay, so this is the universe slash the world card. What this actually represents is that abundance will be coming into your life in large amounts in 2019. Maybe some kind of trip in order to see success in your life, or maybe an opportunity that will bring in financial gain. The third house is communication. It's also the month of March, of course. Here we have Neptune in your chart. Also Lilith will be here. And so we have the Jupiter card, the Wheel of Fortune. This means that who you are in the world will fundamentally change for the better in 2019. Again, this will be explained on Vimeo. Here is the fourth house. We're April. We have the Moon card. And so what this represents is your home and family matters. This can actually mean that there are secrets that are going to be dealt with in the home and family circumstances. This can kind of make sense because in your astrology, Chiron is in Aries now, and so family secrets come through, other important information. There's lots of things that are being in some way discussed or flushed out in your life, okay? The fifth house is May, and also romance and children. Uranus is here for the majority of the year. And so we have the Lust card. Ooh, a passionate year for you. Okay. So a lot of new tastes, new interests are going to come up for you, such as new relationships and new passions. Okay. And so in the sixth house, the house of health and fitness and chores and duty, this is the month of June. So we have the Fool, a new beginning in a new direction, and maybe embarking on something slightly different than what you have before. The seventh house is partnership. A lot of people really want to know about this area of your chart. So we have the Star. Wow. Okay, cool. So this is also July 2019. So this is the card of soulmates. So if you're wondering about relationships, it looks like you are off to some kind of powerful connection in 2019, possibly some soulmate. This is also the house of business partners. The Star card is ruled by Aquarius, so you will definitely have the opportunity to connect with Aquarians and build really solid connections with them. Okay, next, the eighth house, the house of endings, change. Not many transits here. Also, the ninth month is September. We have the Hanged Man. Yeah, not too much in the way of completely ending things, which is a little bit of a surprise because we do have a lot of eclipses in 2019, specifically here and here in your first house of identity and in your seventh house of partnership. I'll explain that more in your videos, okay? And then in the 10th house, we see the Emperor. Oh, okay, so this is your career, your public life. Juno is here in 2019. Okay, so this will mean that there could be a partnership that's evolving for you in the world, or maybe a big career or business decision that will have to do with the world at large, not just maybe your community. Maybe you're looking further ahead. Okay, so the 10th house, your career, this is the ruled by Libra in your chart. So this is the same sign that rules this card. Let's see. We have a new beginning. Oh, okay. So what I see for you already is a pattern. I feel as though there's a possibility of a relationship, a significant relationship coming through for you in 2019. But the thing that's really standing out for me, for you, is the fact that there could be a requirement for you to change where you live because of business opportunities. Like you're starting a really big business, you're really going in a new direction, a lot of energy behind that, okay? So 11th house of friendship. This is in your chart ruled by Scorpio. And so we have the Hermit. So hey, Virgos, you know, the Hermit is ruled by Virgo. Maybe a little bit of a solitary road. If you go over to your tarot reading for 2019, I'll link it down below, and it's in the comments, in the playlist and in the description. You will see that 2019 is really about going your own way. There's possibility of a partnership, but really it's about you getting yourself in the right direction and going the right route. And in the 12th house, we have the Empress, and this is where Jupiter will be for the majority of your year. This 12th house governs spirituality. It governs also your month of December. So I feel like maybe there is maybe some kind of catharsis with regard to circumstances with your mother, or issues with your mother, or possibly you are really connecting with the divine feminine this year and coming into closure, or just like a high point with regard to your femininity, your feminine aspects. I feel as though there's a lot of positive connections here. There's a lot of positivity and opportunity to change, and I think that you're going your own way in good new directions. So let me show you what you're going to see if you get a Vimeo reading by doing a little reading for this adjustment card. So essentially for the whole year, adjustment represents the tempo of the year. So let's talk about it a little bit here. So your core card for the whole year is adjustment. This is also the card of balance, the card of justice, bringing things into focus and making things really fair for yourself. And I think that a part of that will really have to do with making things fair by doing things for yourself, right? Not necessarily reaching out to others, no longer trying to in some way find common ground with others, just doing you in order to achieve what you need to, and finding people who complement that. So it's a big stride forward. The deck I'm reading for in Vimeo, and here is the Tarot de Baleine. It's one of my favorite decks, and I only bring it out for special occasions. It's a out of print deck, but very, very beautiful. So let's see your cards. So we have the Six of Rods, which is success in your goals, success in the things that you're trying to achieve. The Eight of Cups, which is representative of Haru's union, which is like a happy union. And I feel like maybe letting the small things slide in order to see the bigger picture is another theme. And then we have the Devil. Okay. So I feel as though this is like a commitment. This is your card, Capricorn. You rule the Devil card. So I feel like this is just reinforcing the idea that this year you are singling out the things that are important and letting go of everything else. And I feel like that's a part of your success this year, and a part of the goal making that will lead you to success by the end of the year. We have the Queen of Swords, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, the Two of Rods. Remember in your tarot reading, if you go back to it here on YouTube, there is a crone figure, like an older woman, a wise woman who is in some way helping you to gain perspective and go a certain direction. I feel like this is this person coming through again. And then we have the Five of Swords. There will be problems that you will have to face. I feel as though as you define yourself in these new directions, new problems arise. These are new problems, not from the past. And so make sure that you stay on top of your responsibilities, stay on top of the things that you are trying to achieve, and you will not have problems, okay? Here are 4 cards from the Lenormand, and we have the Fish, we have the Sun, and we have the Scythe, and we have the Tower. Okay, so I feel as though this is business. Success in business is assured. There may be a change in business. I think that you're actually expanding in business rather than you kind of retracting or kind of limiting yourself in business. So I think that you may be kind of expanding your business to a larger audience, a larger connection with other people, maybe beyond your community. Maybe maybe if you have one business, then you're buying another. Maybe you're making a chain. And I feel like there is a lot of success in the moves that you are making. So even though relationships are still there, and I feel as though your relationships are primarily centered on mentorship, so wise people who are guiding you. But also, if you have an established relationship, changes of perspective will really seep in and will help you to let go of the little problems and really enjoy your relationships again, okay? So this is a very calming energy, rebalancing and reconnecting to kind of an even footing so that you can move forward with your goals. I feel like after this year is over, you will see significant growth within your partnership, within your romantic life. But I feel like this year is mostly focused on achievement, success, getting yourself where you want to be in life. And here we go. We have accept the gifts of the universe. Now I know you probably are in somewhere like, but I want romance, I want love, I've been waiting so long. Well, I feel like you can get that too, but I think the primary goal here is for you to get yourself to where you want to be so that when it comes for you, you are ready for it, okay? So every single time I do one of these house clarifiers, we'll do a positive affirmation. So the one for your whole year is I am worth loving. And a powerful affirmation is to stand with arms wide open and say, I am willing to let the love in. It is safe to let the love in. So I feel like you are getting ready to have a very big year. I hope that you're just as excited as I am for you now. If you are interested in finding out more about each of the houses of the horoscope, then please go down into the Vimeo pages. And otherwise, there'll be a lot of New Year's readings here on YouTube for you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a wonderful year, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Hey guys, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to your reading for the soulmate compatibility. I'm excited to find out who I'm reading for next. I want to clarify what soulmate compatibility is. It can also be called zodiac compatibility for the months of September and October. It encompasses both platonic and romantic soulmate relationships, and we're basically taking a look at how your sign compares with the sign of another element. So today we're taking a look at Capricorn. So last time we looked at Capricorn and fire signs, so this time let's look at Capricorn and earth signs. Okay, cool. So let me just prepare the wheel for you guys. There's a lot going on in Capricorn, so I'm glad that I got this for you. Let's take a look at the chart. So you can see there's a lot going on in Capricorn this month. You have Vesta, Saturn going direct, Pluto, and Mars is moving into Aquarius on the 10th of September. We're looking at the period between September and October, and we're going to compare your relationships with other earth signs. So first, we're going to take a look at Capricorns with other Capricorns. I think that this can be somewhat a difficult pairing at this time, just because there's so much going on in your sign. But conversely, basically you understand how Capricorns feel, especially if it's a Capricorn sun with a Capricorn moon person. They might really understand what's going on for each other and be quite supportive through this time. By mid September, it's only that Pluto is retrograde, and that's actually common. So even though there are a lot of planets here, a lot of transits, Moon's gonna be there just for a couple days, but just because there are so many important transits through September in Capricorn, I think that it'll be like you'll have your hands full no matter who you choose. But with Capricorns, it might be quite a bit. So your first card is the Knight of Angels. He is the Watcher. Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. The Three of Stars, which is Visions. Three of Wands and other decks. And then we have the Awakening, which is the card of the Last Judgment. So I feel as though you're dealing with a person who has been paying attention to who you are, and in some way they are bringing forward some type of offer. Maybe there's been some flirting back and forth. And I think that their awareness, or your awareness to their presence, is really being heightened. So it's like your eyes are being opened. Maybe a decision is coming up to take back someone from the past, where you're reconsidering a relationship that you thought you were going to move past, and now you are welcoming it back in. So if that's the case, you know, feel free to do so. There's nothing here that says it's a bad idea. Let's see your romance angels. Let go of control issues. An issue for Capricorn sometimes. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. So yeah, that's great. Just be knowledgeable of what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a Knight of Swords, a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra who has a Capricorn aspect as well, that can be a difficult trait within them, so they may understand your aspects well. I have Earth and Air in my chart, and it is a weird mix, but it works out okay. And so I vibe with Earth signs pretty well, and I vibe with Air signs pretty well because of it. So usually not such a good pairing, but because there seems to be like a Capricorn aspect in this person's chart, this relationship might be a positive one. The next message is mentors and role models. So I feel as though in some way you speak with authority to issues. You speak to authority, or they speak to authority with regard to issues, and they're used to living in that way. I think that there may be a little bit of a power struggle between the two of you to try to make things right by you. And in fact, if you're dealing with this right now and this is a long-term relationship, Saturn is really all about that. It's about learning when you should let go and when you should really do it your way so that you get it right. So make sure that you find common ground with this Capricorn and just strive for a good relationship, understanding that they're pressed just as much as you are right now. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at Tauruses. So Taurus and Capricorn probably have the most romantic relationship out of all the earth signs, maybe Taurus and Virgo as well. But I feel like maybe in some way this is like Taurus brings out the warm qualities of Capricorn, so it can be very, very nice and understanding. Taurus has just a few transits. Juno will be transiting out of Taurus through this time, and Uranus will be moving back into Aries. There is a full moon in Taurus at the end of October, on October 24th. And so what that is going to do is probably culminate the relationship. Remember, this can be for Sun, Moon, and Rising, which means that it can entail relationships that in part are, coming to an end or coming into fruition. You know exactly which road you're on, unless you're completely clueless. You know whether you're heading to the end of the road or whether you are continuing and it's escalating. So it's getting more to the extreme, so you should be able to tell exactly which side you're on. We have the Three of Angels. There's been hurt feelings in the past. Page of Trees, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising dreamer. This can also mean the chance to try to start again, to try it in a new direction. And then we have the Queen of Hearts, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. She's showing up a lot, and I feel as though the water signs are super intuitive right now, and I feel like they're stepping in to kind of guide and ease situations. I feel as though they are in some way trying to help through a circumstance towards some bright destination. They understand situations for a better outcome. Here is your next message. We have the honeymoon. Enjoy the bliss of a holiday time together. I feel as though it's important for you to get connected with your Taurus, Capricorn. Remember, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So this person this could be you with a Capricorn moon dealing with a Taurus, or you with a rising sign Capricorn dealing with a Taurus moon. You know, it can be many combinations. But I feel as though this person is bringing understanding to the situation, And I feel as though, even though there have been hurt feelings in the past, you're going to take a trip, or you're going to take some kind of time alone with one another to enjoy each other's company. Stay in your own skin means that you're not supposed to back off in this situation from the relationship. You're not supposed to say, oh, well, I want it this way, or I want that. I think that you should just really find common ground in this relationship and understand what it requires of you. I think both people really want an improvement, so I think that given the right type of sympathy, compassion, loving energy, and understanding, you can find common ground with one another. I think you're wildly attracted to one another. Whenever this card shows up to me, it always says like, oh wow, this is a special relationship, right? So you're feeling it. It's just about putting emotions behind the action. And one of you guys probably has some water signs, which means that you have the capability to open up your heart. And remember, they're your 5th house, so they're supposed to stir you to love, compassion, just feeling good about yourself. Okay? So next we're going to talk about Capricorn and Virgo. So Capricorn right there and Virgo. So we have Sun in Virgo until the 22nd of September. And then we have Mercury in Virgo. We have a new moon in Virgo on the 9th of September. And that's about it for Virgo transits. So Virgo is going to provide a lot of support and compassion to the people around them. There is just a natural affinity to provide and nurture, right? And to feed everyone else, emotionally or otherwise. There's this kind of element of kind of coming into fruition for the one's efforts, and also bringing into fruition the relationships that Virgos are having. So it's like this culminating point in terms of relationships. Here we go, 3 cards for Virgo and Capricorn. So we have the 4 of Hearts. It's called depression, but I'd rather say that there's going to be an offer that is going to be made. And then we have the Tower, which is collapse of the ego, a humbling experience. Something is going to be said that is going to bring people down to their knees. They're going to feel very humbled by the experience, and they're going to understand their place. That's a good thing, right? When we're humbled, it's really good to understand how we need to be stripped down, be humble, presenting ourselves to the other person. No ego, no pretense, just the truth. The next message is the Emperor, which represents the father. So I feel as though this could be a very bonding time for you and your Virgo, whether this is a platonic or a romantic relationship. I feel as though in moments of vulnerability, this closeness is going to really come together and assert itself. So I'm not sure if it's you or the Virgo that's going through a lot. It looks as though it may be you because of these transits that are quite intense. Virgo's transits are really like holistic and kind of replenishing. But you never know who's going to get what. Maybe the Virgo has a Capricorn moon, in which case they're under the same transits as you. Share a breath. So this means just to connect on a pure level, to express to each other that which you need, to understand each other's souls, make that connection. So all of this stuff that's kind of falling away in the situation, around the situation, is unnecessary. It kind of hurts sometimes because sometimes we want something to stay, but it's really unnecessary, and you're stripped down just to the bare minimum. But the bare minimum is exactly what you need. So it's a pretty special transit. Here is you're feeling romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. I feel as though in a moment of vulnerability, one of you are going to recognize that the other person is exactly who you want. So I feel like if you're meant to be together through the new moon on the 9th and through other parts of the next 2 months, you're going to have these kinds of awakenings that are in some way going to point you in the right direction with the Virgo. Okay? Sun, moon, and rising, right? And it can be platonic. This can also mean like in a friendship situation, you can realize, or a family situation, just how important someone is to you. Okay? So you're going to have this moment of great awareness as to what's going on, and it's going to push you to a specific direction. Hopefully towards improvement of relationships, hopefully to reconciliation, and hopefully to romantic feelings and a deepening of a relationship, a commitment. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a couple good months, and I will catch you next week for either air or water. Okay, bye. Hi Capricorn, thank you for joining me and welcome to this reading for love for 2018. This is your yearly love reading using a higher arcana deck. This year I'm using the Angle Tarot, which is the Angel Tarot. It's a really beautiful deck. It's out of print and it's rare, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I really like it. It's full of angels and they're very, very artistic. So let me just make sure that everything's in the same direction. I don't read reversals. If you're interested in another reading for 2018, I am putting in all the monthly, yearly, weekly readings in the folder down below for Capricorn. Make sure that you're watching for your sun, moon, and rising sign. Sometimes watching for Venus or Mars is also good depending on your chart. So if you have any doubt about that, go see an astrologer. I definitely can give you advice about this as well. Here is some information for you regarding your love life, if with your twin flame, soulmate, true love. Now, if you don't have someone, then this side of the heart represents your partner that you are about to receive. So the person that is coming into your life. So don't fret. There is someone out there for you, even if you're single. And so this advice sticks for everyone. Okay? At the starting point of the year, you have the Devil. So, okay, this is the card that rules your sign. So with all other signs, I'm kind of critical of the Devil. But now moving forward, I feel like for Capricorn, it's really something that is specific to your sign. So this can actually just mean you, but it can actually mean like a overzealous commitment to some kind of tangible or physical issue or thing. For you, you have a stellium that comes through. Capricorn has a stellium, a bunch of planets that comes through their second house in January and February of the year. So right at the beginning of the year, coinciding with the Chinese New Year, there's going to be a bunch of planets in your second house of money. Also, there's a huge emphasis, we know this already, in your first house. And so I talk about this a lot. You have three planets or three bodies there, Saturn, Pluto, and Lilith. And so, yeah, there's a lot of energy there. There's a lot of focus there in your life. But I feel as though there's this overarching chance at maybe too much focus in the material plane. I feel as though you are, in a certain way, bound to tangible things or physical things. But this can also mean that you or your partner or both are at this time welcoming too much toxicity in your life by not flowing in the direction of healthful activities and choosing unhealthy ones. And it's up to you to make a choice to make the right decisions. So you may have started the year off in somewhat a polluted state, but you've had some pretty tough transits that had hampered you possibly last year. Namely, Saturn in the 12th house can produce a lot of hidden events that happened in your life out of nowhere. So that was one that would have been quite difficult. And also you are going through the North Node in your 8th house, which is kind of one that creates a lot of flux and change. So it's not necessarily bad things, but they are things that are difficult to address, okay? So the next two cards represent your ideals in a relationship, what you're looking for in the relationship, what you want to see happen. So your first ideal is the Strength card. So you want passion in the relationship. You want that deep truth. Now the Devil is referencing there's a possibility of untruths being around you or in the circumstances. And so this is what you are looking for. You're looking for your relationship to clarify or help clarify any dishonesty that you have in your life. Here is your next message. We see the Chariot, and so this is the card of overcoming circumstances, clarifying things, improving on situations, moving on from situations, improving your life. This is the card of kind of how do you say, forgiveness. So if the Devil represents a rejection of good things, then the Chariot represents the acceptance of good things. And we're talking in a more spiritual sense. So things from the universe, things from God, whichever God you believe in, if you believe in a God. So this is just all blessings, and this is what you're looking for in the relationship. You want the relationship to reconcile things for you, and you want that truth to come through in your life as well. These are the two cards that represent what your partner wants. So here's the first one. They want the Emperor, so they want something very fixed and structural, orderly, fair, earned, an earned success. The next thing that they want is the Star. So they want their destiny, they want their soulmate. They're looking for a very specific one-on-one relationship that is meant to be. They're looking for destiny. They're looking for the ideal partner, or they're looking to be the ideal partner. So I feel as though maybe this event, whatever it was, the Devil, it made both of you somewhat shaken. It may have shook you up, and it may have led you to both revert to somewhat extreme desires for the relationship. So you want this kind of like virginal purity, clarifying truth experience in your relationship this year, whereas your partner is a kind of really systematic or structural in what they want. They want a soulmate. They want someone they can marry or start business with, someone who has very regimented rules or very grounded for them, okay? This card will represent your next step in the progress of your love life with your partner, and this card will represent the next step that they will take. Now, if you don't have a partner, they're still going through all these things. It's just you don't know them yet, so you don't. It just gives you an idea of what's going on for them. Here is the next message. Sorry, it's upside down. You're going to make a really big decision this year about welcoming something back in or leaving something behind. I feel as though you're going to leave that toxic thing that has been slowing you behind. So I feel like if it's procrastination, that's one thing that I heard, or if it was substance abuse, smoking, then you're kind of really unapologetically leaving something behind, categorically just removing it completely. And that's because you feel so passionate about having this authentic experience that you are going to do everything possible to make sure that you follow through with that which you have promised for yourself. Here is the next stage of what they had promised or what they had been seeking. And this is the Hierophant. So maybe they're looking for a formalized marriage, possibly, or maybe more so than that, a formalized group of people with whom they can find camaraderie or a committed goal or committed purpose that's shared. So maybe in a certain way they're sharing kind of values, qualities. They agree to share those things in order to see a joint outcome and performance. And I think that that may be the spiritual lens that they use in order to be able to kind of keep clean so that when that ideal situation comes through, it's available. Now, if you're in a partnership and you already know them, they're pushing you to have more and more structure in your relationship and more kind of expression of connection. They're really looking to bring together a perspective and really kind of finalize it or make it really concrete, okay? So the next two cards are advice cards. For you, you have two here and your partner as well. If you know your partner, just tell them, or this will help you deal with them. If you don't have a partner, then this represents what your partner is looking for at this time. It'll give you perspective as to where you are in this situation, where you are in terms of achieving a love with your partner, right? So here is your first card. We have the Last Judgment card. So I feel as though you are aligning towards fairness and you're moving forward. I think both of you are pulling yourself out of really difficult places. And I feel as though you're really focused on attaining balance. Some of you are going to practice such things as yoga or Tai Chi in order to just center yourself, and with the purpose of having this altruistic, positive, super, like when they go low, you go high. This is the energy here. So maybe you're applying towards being very healthful towards yourself, taking care of yourself, and making sure that all those things are addressed. The next message is we have the Fool card, and so you're hoping for a new beginning. The advice is that you pursue a new beginning as soon as it's available to you. I think that you're going to make a certain type of key decision, probably pretty early on in the year, about how to address the matter, how to unfold and grow in situations, and how to have insight into the situation that has kept you back in the past so that you can reconcile and find a healthful beginning. This is like clean living, but maybe not to do with how you live so much. It could be with anything in life where you're really seeking a real kind of clean cut and clean and sober perspective or approach. This is clean and sobriety in the mind as well. So thoughts and ideas are just as important as our intake, right? So this is thinking clearly. If you fell before into some type of challenge with regard to your emotions, I'm sensing lacks of trust, those kinds of things. Those things are also being reconciled. Those things are also one step at a time. You're addressing those things so that you can be more open to your relationship. The advice cards for your partner, we have the Hanged Man. So they need to learn to sacrifice of themselves. This is the lesson that they need to make. They also need to learn a certain degree of pacing, and I think that the community environment is going to help them model that behavior well. So they're going to be around people who are practicing healthy approaches to things, and so patience is going to be something that they can learn from others. Here is the next message. They're needing to let go of certain things. Maybe they're the people who started this devil situation. Maybe they got into some kind of trouble. And I feel as though they need to go through that whole process. They need to do a lot of work. And I'm sorry that but it's not as though you're directly impacted. So I'm wondering how many of you are in a partnership already. Because this feels like you're just doing your thing. You avert danger, definitely. In your January reading, we got the Tower reversed. You're making the right decisions. You avert danger. Whereas I think that your partner has inadvertently initiated danger, either because they're sick you know, with substance abuse and not, or by whatever circumstances. It doesn't matter. Substance abuse is so overly used as an example anyway. Um, but anyway, so I think that you're focusing on finding balance, whereas they're really needing to overhaul something that put both of you or you in that predicament or them in that predicament if you don't know each other. So, and energetically, that would have had a negative downturn. So, if you don't know your soulmate, if you don't know your twin partner, and let's say they get into some massive ish, very often people experience viscerally what that person, without having ever met them, spoken with them, don't know of their existence, they have those kinds of experiences. Like the what is it called? When someone lives vicariously through someone, or sympathy, you know, sympathy struggles. I know. Here is the outcome for this reading. So you guys have the Magician. So I think that whenever a partner is going through Hanged Man and the Tower, an overhaul of things, if you are the right person and you see them through it, then you both benefit at the end because you come out so much stronger. But that's not usually, you know, the perfect scenario is never really quite true. I do feel as though you, as you become more and more balanced, this is, I just command you for this. You want truth and honesty, transcendence in a relationship. That's not even about like a task list of things someone has to meet in order to be with you. It's just a very sensible thing to look for in relationships. And from that, you're building such stability and long-term stability. So don't sacrifice it for other people. Although this isn't like a romance, this isn't like dating. This is some long-term, very trusted thing. The outcome is the Magician. Whatever you put your energy into, Capricorn, this year, remember that stellium in your first house, it's going to really manifest for you. So if you're good and you draw good from all good situations, good will come out of it. But if you're malefic and you create discord and challenge and dissonance in all your situations, then the Magician's going to manifest that forward. I do think it's going to be fine, Capricorn. I don't think that you are going to, you know, muck it up or anything. So you just go do you. Enjoy 2018 in love. I hope your partner clarifies whatever circumstances that they're involved with. And have patience for everyone. We're just catching up to you. So I wish you all the best. Happy birthday to those of you who are watching early. And thank you so much. Please check out my 2018 videos in the section below, or find my Vimeo link for Capricorn and rent 1 or 2 videos for each sign, each house of your zodiac. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you. Bye. Happy New Year. Guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for Jupiter and Sag, and I'm excited to be here with you guys, okay? So this card represents your sign. I'm not going to look at the beginning at who it is, and then we will clarify with the Syrian Starseed Tarot, okay? And today what we're going to do is take a look at your Sun, Moon, and Rising sign through a general overview with the Syrian Starseed, then a love-focused reading using the Art of Love Tarot, and then astrology as well. And I have a special surprise at the end, okay? So you want to stay tuned for that. So your first card is the Ten of Crystals, which really signifies happy home, happy family. Jupiter is going to be in Sag from 2018 until December 2019, so over a year. Sage of Flames is the next card. This is the Queen of Wands, Sun, Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and the Ace of Orbs, which is the Ace of Swords. So I feel like some very important communication will come to you from a Sage of Flames. Now this could be a woman or a man, but this is more of a feminine energy. This energy has a lot to do with family. It has a lot to do with stability. And I feel like it's going to only contribute and reinforce family in your life and make you feel more confident and strong in this direction. Okay? Are you guys ready to take a look at what sign we are reading for? It's Capricorn. Hi, Capricorn, and nice to see you. Let's take a look at this transit. This is going to happen for you in your 12th house, right? So the 12th house has a lot to do with your visions and dreams, all the stuff in the back end. I would say that Jupiter in the 12th house is the hard transit of Jupiter. It's not necessarily the easiest one, because essentially it brings up all the karma and all the consequences of everything that you haven't dealt with for 11 years and tries to give you a reset before it goes into the first house. And for you, what's important about that is you're already going through a big karmic release with the South Node and Pluto and Saturn in the first house, releasing all this toxic stuff from before. So you're kind of getting it from both sides, Capricorn. This can mean that a family member is going to reach out to you in order to build stronger bonds with you, which is a very good thing. And Jupiter in the 12th house isn't a bad thing. It just means that you will be asked to really work through certain energies, really work on yourself in certain respects. I feel like the communication is coming from far away. There could be also a relationship that really brings the best out in you this year. So I think that no relationship will stick for you this year unless it's meant to bring out the best, the very best of what you have to offer, the very best of what you can contribute from yourself. I feel like you're going to be communicating to other people exactly what you want out of life, and I think that you'll be telling the world and everyone else exactly what you want from them. I also feel like there is a strong legacy behind the things that you are saying, which means that this is no new business. This is all old business with people that you know and who you trust, okay? This is, remember, the general overview. This is the first look at this energy. Let's take a look at your next message. We have the Seven of Orbs, which is the Seven of Swords, and the Star, which is this probably Queen of Wands, a Sagittarius or Aries. And the Nine of Orbs. Wow, okay. So I feel like Jupiter is asking you to confront something from the past. And I know Jupiter in the 12th house is not the easiest transit, because I had that last year, and it definitely brought up a lot of issues for me that I had to address, things that I was putting off literally maybe 30 years, not to age myself, but like stuff that I was essentially, just kind of blowing off, I had to face, and some of it just kind of went straight in my face, and that was it. I had to confront it. And so anyway, so this is the energy that you're being pushed through as well. I feel like there's communication that's coming to you that's going to say something that maybe you have been trying to avoid. And you will be forced to take a route in a specific direction, because the course that everybody else is going is going to corner you, and you know it. So you have to take this other route and face something that you really have not wanted to face for quite some time. But remember, Jupiter is a blessing. So whatever you go through this year, it is a blessing. It is your way through. It is your catharsis. It is the point through which you'll find freedom, essentially, right? Okay, so let's take a look at your love cards. And then remember, I have that surprise for you after. So let's see. Mr. Deville, the Capricorn. And make sure to like and comment also. The Star is a fated event. It never means something bad. It always means that you're meant to go through a certain path. Like you're running away from something. Not only running away, but you are removing yourself from a situation that feels almost as though it's perfect, as though it's great, as if would offer you everything you want, but you already have that insight. You have the understanding that this is not the situation for you. It's almost like, how do you say, something really pretty that's actually really deadly. I can't think of something like a plant or an animal, something like that, or something really sweet that's actually not that good for you, whatever kind of energy we're talking about here. Here is the next message. There you are again, Mr. Deville, the shadow. And so this is reinforcing the idea that a lot's going on for you in your first house as well, with Saturn and Pluto and the South Node. And so the video on the South Node will be out soon in your playlist. I would really recommend you watch that as well. But this is going to be a very big karmic year for you. And Jupiter in the 12th house is actually karmic as well. I never thought of it that way. So I think that in terms of achievement, in terms of moving forward, you have to be very tolerant to what the world is asking of you, okay? Here is the next message. We have the Lovers, okay? So this can represent the Gemini, but this can also represent a relationship that you have been in for a very long time. And the Page of Trees. So this is a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, or a new opportunity to move forward. Maybe you and your partner have had the same house for a very long time, and in some way now you see a new opportunity in a new direction, and so maybe you're starting to feel that this is the time for you to move. Chiron is going to be in your 4th house, so if there's any kind of ill feelings around the home and family, this might be a time, if you have a negative memory and a negative attachment to where you live, maybe this will be the time when Chiron's going to really point it out to you. Hey buddy, you've really got to move. It's making you miserable. Here is the next message. We have the Two of Angels. In order to find peace, you're not going to confront the situation. In order to find peace, you're going to remove yourself from it and take a side turn. The next message is the Seven of Hearts. And so I feel like you know that you have to move on from a circumstance or situation. Some of you are leaving behind a very bad relationship, in which case there has been a lot of repression and suppression within this relationship that has really kept you back from shining. And in this instant, it would be you. And someone reaches out to you and gives you an offer, and you say, yeah, I'm on it, I'm going. And this would explain the Nine of Orbs, why you end up kind of feeling and confronting things, because it's a hard choice that you're making. You really have to make a hard choice this year. And remember, Jupiter is all blessings, it's all opportunity. So even those opportunities sometimes come with hard decisions, and we have the Three of Angels. So you have to confront something, Capricorn. And I know that you probably are watching this. This is my Jupiter reading, Baruch, what gives? But I think that many of you have been holding on to things, and because you have such a strong grip on them, you can't really release too easily all the time. So you've been kind of foregoing moving on from a situation and somehow being stuck in a situation you shouldn't be in. And so now this is your time to move forward, release those attachments, and go forward in a better direction for you, which includes confronting things you don't want, which includes, you know, going it alone for a while. If you're not breaking up with your partner, then I think you're going to have to drag their butt through it. They're kicking and screaming, and they're definitely not a person who necessarily sees it the way that you do or has the same confidence that you do. So that will be part of the problem here. When you know you have to go in a direction, this could be a job opportunity that comes through for you this year. That will require that you change your life, change your direction, change where you live, those kinds of things. And you feel in your heart of hearts that this is the direction for you. But I feel like you will have to confront some of the interpersonal relationships that are causing you to kind of not get there as quickly as you would have if you made that choice by yourself. Also, I feel as though there is like a lot of thinking back to security, to past times, past relationships, past situations, specifically situations that were within the last 11 years. I feel like you're really thinking back on those times and assessing their value or their resonance for you in your life. And don't get caught up into romanticizing it too much. It was what it was, and we have the Devil here, which to me signifies you may have the predisposition to think of it as having been better than it was. which often happens with memories, right? So take a cold, hard look at it and move forward, even though it feels like it's something that might be somewhat frightening or overwhelming a little bit, okay? So I know this is just kind of an intense reading, but what I'm going to do for you guys is something I haven't done on the channel in a while. If you guys remember, I used to do these wish readings where you guys could make a wish. And so I'm going to hook you guys up with a wish. And actually, I filmed it already. So this is my little sparkler. That's why I had to take the cards off the table. And what you do is when the sparkler is lit, you make a wish. And since Jupiter is moving into Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, it's almost like a new year. And so you can watch this video as many times as you like and make as many wishes as you like in the upcoming year. Okay, so let's see. Make a wish. And I just want to say some thanks to you guys, Capricorns. You guys have been so special to me and definitely a strength. I have several friends who have moon, sun, and rising Capricorn, and you guys have been my backbone through the last few years. I think you guys are amazing, and thank you guys so much for the help and support with the channel. You guys really stand out, month in, month out, consistent Capricorns, and I really wish for you guys all the best. Remember, Jupiter is moving into Capricorn next year, so this is a bit of a preparatory year, even though Jupiter is in Sagittarius, its ruling sign, so still a very powerful year. I hope you get your wish, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk with you soon. And thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Hey Capricorn, and thank you for joining me, and welcome to this reading for the switch of the North Node between Virgo and Leo. This will happen on April 28th, 2017, and will last until November 28th, 2018. The South Node will transit into Aquarius, but we'll talk about that separately. The North Node is a point that talks about mostly your personal development and the general direction that your life is meant to take. It's a trajectory, so there's no, pass or fail. There's no end point. You just have to kind of know that over the next year and a half, there will be an increased focus in this area of your life. North Node in Leo is a focus on community, on growing in support of others. In the 8th house, what we're talking about is sex. We're talking about shared resources, and we're talking about endings. So for you, having the 8th house in Leo typically would mean that at this time you are going to be focusing on leadership within your family. You could be in charge of a will or an estate. You could have a flowering sexual life at this time, and then also a preoccupation with endings as well as death. So maybe not with you directly, however, maybe you will perceive certain events around you that come up in that quality or strain. The North Node creates a conjunction with a fixed star called Regulus. This is the star of kings, and as it transitions between your 9th and 8th house, it will create a conjunction with this fixed star. So it's a really blessed transition. Also, we have a grand trine that forms in April and will continue on until October 2017. That's 7 months. A grand trine is supportive energy. For you specifically, this will affect your 12th house of spirituality, your 4th house of home and family, and your 8th house of endings, sex, and shared resources. So I think that bigger questions start being unpacked for you with regard to family and cultural traditions, as well as faith-based traditions, and those will be applied to some really large changes with regard to that area of your life. Why don't we take a look at some cards? These are pre-shuffled. I just do that beforehand. So you have the 4 of Fire. I know that Virgo got this as well. It's the only duplicate card that we got. The 4 of Fire represents setting your sights on a mark and being able to really kind of seek out direction or a point and a purpose. So you're really focused in a specific direction and trying to achieve a goal or something that you're trying to win or persevere. The next message is the Milky Way. This is the message of the perceptive. So both of these cards really talk about vision and perspective and ideas. And of course, the North Node has transitioned through your 9th house over the last year and a half or so. And so you have been thinking a lot about what you're about, what you believe, what the world around you is all about. And so this is the goal-oriented piece where you're really kind of identifying certain things. I suspect that this has a deep resonance within your spirituality. And then the Milky Way is also about perspective, allowing you to have a larger scope of understanding about things around you, particularly family stuff. Family and home stuff could be really rethought at this time. Here is the next message. Angel of miracles, open your heart and expect a miracle. So if at this time you don't think that anything good is about to happen, you're wrong. And I think that really wonderful things are coming into your life. I want to make sure that you can see this card. So wonderful things, unexpected things are coming into your life, much better than you had thought ever before. And I think that you are being given chances and opportunities to hope and to take life in a very positive direction. So this is the 8th house stuff too, because the 8th house allows us for a certain amount of change. It is the house of endings, but it's also the house of transition. Let's look at the astrology just a little bit more, and I'll explain some of the other things to watch out for while the North Node is in your 8th house. So we talked about the Grand Trine energy, which is supportive energy through the houses as described. In January and February 2018, so by the way, this Grand Trine is going to be there until October. So in January, February, the North Node is going to move all the way over here. And there's going to be 2 pretty stressful semi-square angles on that point. January and February 2018 is going to be a challenge and a question. What do you actually want to do with all this? So you want to get ready for that time period. Secondly, there's going to be a yod that will show up in May 2018 on Saturn in Capricorn, which is in your 1st house. Saturn in Capricorn is a tough transit. We'll talk about that towards the end of the year. This is going to be a focus on your personality. You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get questioned for why you do things a certain way. But there's also a certain degree of reward if you do follow the instructions and the advice of the people around you and the circumstances as they demand it. So in May 2018, you will see a yod straight in the middle of your 1st house, a fireball of energy, a powerful laser beam of energy on your 1st house. And with that will come either recognition or you will get criticized further. So it depends on where you are with things. This is why I'm telling you now, so you can prepare yourself and really listen to the symbols and the signs that are guiding you in a specific direction. The foundation of this is going to be the North Node in your 8th house. So all the lessons about change that you're learning, you get to apply. The second foundation is in your 6th house, which is going to be concerning itself with health and diet and all those things. And so highlighting your 1st house. So what you are doing with yourself will reflect purely on your personality. That's going to be on May 2018. Now, when the North Node transitions just in April, there are a couple little things to keep in mind. There is the Rosetta, which forms between your 12th house of spirituality, your 3rd and 4th house. This is the IC line, your source, where you grew up, and your thoughts and ideas from that time period. And then a T-square that could have formed on, well, is forming on Mars and Ceres here between the 5th and 6th house. That's the things that you enjoy doing, children, passions, as well as health and fitness. Now this T-square that was going to be formed from the opposition of this North and South Node is going to put pressure point on the 5th and the 6th house, right? And so this is the pressure point that gets reconciled by the Rosetta. So if you have been making mistakes with regard to your health and fitness, I would advise you to really use this energy wisely and take it upon yourself to deal with the situation directly, so that by May, when this is fully engaged, the 6th house, you can in some way you can some way alleviate the pressure that's put on your personality, okay? So word to the wise, it's a T-square. It would have been a bad angle if not for the Rosetta, which is going to alleviate it and then involve changes, the willingness to change and transform, which is sometimes for Capricorn an intense process. So the Rosetta allows us to make changes and adjustments and editing process between these houses. This happens in April. The second foundation of this transition is a kite. And so the kite is formed off the tail of your south node being in the second house. The south node reconciles karma while the north node reconciles dharma. And so this means that your source energy is going to propel you towards making changes vis-a-vis other people, shared resources, and also your sexual life. So what you conceive of beauty is being reconciled. We'll talk about the south node separately. And this is the kite formation is going to form on April 28th as well when this transition happens. So that's why they're important to focus on, because both of these are going to be taking us into the next 1.5 year period. I also shuffled and handpicked all these cards. I don't know what they are. So these are the cards from the Alice in Wonderland Tarot. So we have Justice is a focal point. Jupiter's in Libra right now, which is the ruler of the Justice card. But this is also governing your 10th house of career. So maybe you are making certain fundamental decisions about your career and where you want to go, which is really typical and expected from Capricorn in general. So you're making some pretty significant changes, adjustments, opportunities, seeking opportunity in your 10th house, maybe finding balance with regard to those issues and topics. Overall, I think that you're trying to attain balance between possibly your family and belief systems through this transit, and really kind of focused on making changes where changes are due. This is the next message. We see the Page of Swords. A lot of people got this. This is a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. So this is some kind of person who changes our perspective, or maybe our perspective has been changed, Capricorn, and now you are going in a different direction. Remember this card. It's really important. It's one of my favorite cards because he's so focused, or she's so focused. This person is so focused, and they're setting off on their mark. You know, it looks like he's staring straight at you, and he's making his mark, and he's ready to make that. It could be a she. It's androgynous. So this person, this she, as they say, could be making a mark on wherever it's going, and that's you essentially, Capricorn. It's time to put your foot down on something. The next card is the Tower. I know it looks really scary and intimidating. Humpty Dumpty keeps on falling from the tower. So even though it's the Tower here, we have Archangel, the angel of miracles. Open your heart and expect a miracle. So I think something is softening your heart, and there will be a much better experience than you had expected. There's going to be a huge transformation. Remember, for love, the Tower card is a wonderful card, and you are going to see a brief transit of the Sun and Ceres in Taurus when this transition happens in your 5th house of romance. So yeah, be prepared for that. Then we have the Four of Coins. There's some refusal to accept things as they are, maybe a refusal to make room, to make things a little bit simpler and more straightforward. Are you fully participating in the process? That's what my question is. Are you really doing what it is that you need to do in order to achieve your goals? I think that there's some big questions coming up for you because the North Node is in the 8th house, which is challenging you to change some fundamental systems. Then we have the High Priestess. Okay, so this is like really looking at things as they are, assessing, and really understanding the greater mechanics of how things are, knowing both worlds, both the Alice in the Wonderland world and the real world, maybe kind of bridging the separation, the paradox between the two. And here is your last message from tarot cards. We have the Ace of Swords. This is going to culminate, I believe, in some type of communication, some kind of presentation. I feel as though you are going to have a pretty significant shift in awareness. There's going to be some kind of letter, some kind of document that you are going to receive, that you're going to hear about. I think you're afraid of this document. However, I think it's going to be peace-bearing, and I think that it's going to make things nice and copacetic. I don't think you are going to have a difficult time with it. I think you are managing different things. It looks to me as though the importance here is on the Four of Fire and the Perspective card. You are setting yourself your sights set on something that you want to achieve. It could be spiritual. Whatever it is you're trying to achieve, a project or a perspective, I don't think that you're anticipating that how good things will be. I think that there's a mindset that there'll be hard work and toil. The Jabberwock is right in the middle of the reading, so there's this kind of scary element to it. And I think that you're anticipating this in a different sense than what you're going to actually receive. I think what you're going to receive is something that is much more agreeable, something that is much more tolerable, and something that brings you peace and balance. Here is your card from my deck. This is the Cosmic Flower Oracle deck. And we have the Chrysanthemum, and I always pronounce this. Weird, easy road, complex personality, intuition, new relationship, and candor. So what you're going to get is a big dose of truth and honesty in your situations and circumstances. So you are going to get a lot of opportunity to follow your intuition. The road will not be as hard as you thought. So I think that you're anticipating a hard road ahead. It's not going to be. I think that a lot of this has come from your own mind. You've had a hard transit for 1.5 years with the North Node in the 9th house. Especially for you, you're unpacking deep thoughts and ideas. And so now you can kind of wind down. You don't have to be so, pent up and blocked from the possibilities. Here is your first token. And so we see the solar plexus coming through. Okay, so it's time for you to shine. It's time for you to project your solar house, which is Capricorn, or you have to project yourself, your Martian energy, your solar energy, put it to good use. The next message is 777. So this is the number of the angels. So blessings or whatever you wish for is coming true. I think that you have a hard time believing just how good life can be. And I think that this 8th house is going to give you some kinds of encouragement. There's also a degree of the sacral chakra here. So the sacral chakra is encouraging you to have sex, to have some kind of sexual connection with people, to open yourself up a little bit more and to understand. This is not a transit in which you are going to be repressed or held back. I think it's going to be a fast-moving transit, and so you should be excited for that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give me a like and a subscribe. Good luck, Capricorn. Take care. Bye. Hi Capricorn, thank you for joining me, and here is your reading for the latter part of 2018. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the first video and on all the other videos I put out for 2018. It was a huge amount of work. You don't even know. It was a grind. Anyway, I'm super excited that I could bring this to you guys. And so why don't we just take a look at the first reading as a summary, and then I'll move into the latter part of the reading. The first reading is available in full on YouTube still, and it does cover the entire year. So we're going to be looking more at the second and the third quarter, maybe a little bit of the second quarter just for more information. It's kind of like an in-depth look. So the readings that are available are all listed in the About section, but let me explain them for you a little bit here now. So I did one astrological reading for January through June, and then I did a second astrological reading for July through December. So those are just 10-minute videos that cover basic transits, eclipses, etc. For 2018 and how they pertain to your sign. So I will be talking about little transits here and there in this video. And so what you can do is watch the astrology video before if you want more details on what's going on, if you're not up to snuff on is it snuff or stuff? Up to stuff on what's going on in the latter part of 2018. And then I did an Instagram post with a astrological spread, which is the 12 house horoscope spread. And so I posted that on Instagram. That's linked down below. If that post got 500 hearts, then I released some, if not all, of the clarifying videos for each of the houses on YouTube. And if not, then they're all available to rent on Vimeo. So I know it's a lot of information, but it was a lot of work, and so you have a variety of readings to get, and each of those little videos clarified each of the houses, so it was a really nice little reading. I don't think I charged very much, and if not, then they should be available now for free on YouTube. If they're not, check out the Instagram post and leave a heart, and that will probably get that post up to so many hearts. Okay. All right. So let's take a look now at the first reading. Let's have a look and see. Let's have a look at the first reading. I did use the tokens in the first reading. It's not showing here, but you had the marriage card in your position. So a big theme for you was marriage and relationships. And we already talked about the astrology in that there is a huge stellium in your first house, particularly in the spring and in the mid-year through August and September, that has a lot of transits in Capricorn. And that's going to be something that kind of comes back around in 2020 in a big way and gets stronger and stronger from here on in. This is probably one of the most significant transits of your life. So no wonder there's a lot of change, a lot of transformation. The towers down here in the bottom. This reading is explained in that first tarot card reading for 2018. It's linked down below. But you do begin something new. There's something in the past that keeps bringing you back in. There's a need for you to reconnect with the past. You're seeking the past in some way, and you're trying to make that connection a second time. For some of you, that's really necessary, and for some of you, there's a secondary relationship or friendship or connection that sort of got you stuck socially. It's almost like you have a responsibility towards someone, but they do things differently than you do. They approach life differently than you do. And so it's almost like you made a certain commitment towards someone, and then you realize that they do things completely differently than you do, and it's totally stressful, and you have to kind of be stuck with that. That's okay. Good things are coming. Don't worry. The outcome is the Lovers, which is relationships, the upcoming opportunity and hope. And I feel as though for many of you, there is a permanent relationship or a marriage that is coming to the forefront. In an overview of the year, I do feel like you're making moves in the first and second quarter. You're really prompted to make drastic changes in your life and push forward in new directions. And now we're going to look at the Last Judgment and how that's going to manifest in your life. So I'm excited to do that with you guys. And the reading that I'm going to do in order to see that, see you walk your truth, which is the star here, the oncoming energy, is going to be the same reading that I did for December 2017. So except I'm using tarot cards this time instead of the Romance Angel Oracle cards. Okay, so why don't we take a look at that? Very exciting. Sorry, I hope you guys like my little intros with the summary of the previous reading. I really like doing them for you guys. And it helps me because people always ask me, like, how did you read before? I'm like, I don't remember what I said, because just the volume is so high, right? Okay, so here are your cards. Here are your cards. Okay. So I'm not going to show you guys every single one up close. This is the Tarot of Dreams. If you want to see more about it, then look it up with Google. Your first card is, ooh, bad sign, the moon. Okay, the moon in reversed is a good sign. It means you're coming into clarity. So don't worry. I don't read reversals, but I know the meanings. So the moon in reverse means that you're coming into clarity. So if that's the case, then don't worry so much about that. Just so you guys know, I'm in like the most comfy spot. I just made the most comfy spot for myself. Finally, after all these years, it's perfect. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so here is your first card, an upright. And so you've got the star. Wonderful. I'll upgrade from the moon to the star. And don't worry about the shininess. It's just a part of this. And then we have the devil in the second. Pretty hard spot for the devil. We'll explain that in a minute. Then we have the high priestess in 3. That's pretty beautiful. And then we have the faith card. This is the Hierophant. So marriage is at the heart of it all again. The Tower. Ooh. Change and transformation. And then this is actually in alignment to your Vimeo astrological reading from Instagram. You got the Tower in the same meaning, the same position. The Hanged Man. Okay. And the Temperance card. Perfect. So the next message is the Lovers. And then we have the Magician. I'll explain everything in a minute. And then we have the Sun. Okay. And then we have the Empress. Fertility, mother, creativity. Then we have Justice, fairness and order coming into your life. And the Moon, inspiration. This is the influence of Pisces. And the Hermit. Your own journey awaits, Capricorn. And then we have the Chariot. So some things are not what they seem, especially with inspiration, the Wheel. Ooh. Okay. There's going to be a huge shift that's happened. The Fool. Wow. Okay. And then the Strength card. There's going to be a good friend who sees you through circumstances and situations. You're going to be doing some travel. I think this came up in your Vimeo reading as well. And the Last Judgment. By the way, I'm going to clarify with the cosmic tarot. And then the Emperor. That's a beautiful position. Yay. Okay. Marriage. And then the Death card. Everybody has it. So there's going to be a change. Oh, wow. Okay. A drastic change and transformation. And possibly marriage. Change. That's the thing about the first reading that we saw that was kind of perplexing, and I just couldn't really quite figure it out. Let's stick this rose here so you guys can see her. But yeah, so that's the perplexing thing. It seems as though you're caught up in something from the past, and then boom, it's happening for you in the present moment. And in a really beautiful way too. I don't feel like 2018 is a harsh year for you. At the center is your own creative abilities, which is the Empress here, connection to your mother and mother energy in general, mothering energy. Now if you don't have kids or if your mom has passed away, then this is still, the energy is still there. It's just you feel it all around you and you feel really connected to it through 2018. Sorry, I'm being a bit perfectionistic. But isn't it beautiful? That looks so lovely. And this little rose with the star. So you're initiating something really new in your life in 2018. Something new is coming forward. But I think it's a point of creativity. And with so many planets in Capricorn, you're really pushing forward in new directions. What would I expect in 2018 if I was a Capricorn? Well, the ultimate outcome is a fundamental change to your ordinary way of life. Remember, in the second quarter, we had the Last Judgment and then the Lovers. It's like you finally realize that you have to make that decision. It's like unapologetically, you have to make a certain decision. You have to do things a certain way. That is the only way through to meet the answer to your problems. This is the only way that you can address circumstances in a fair manner. I feel as though the answer just gets really clear and like shoved in your face, like really clearly shoved in your face. This is your answer, Capricorn. You have to make that change. You have to change that solitary nature. You need to join a group. There could be a Pisces influence around you. And I feel as though there's a huge change and transformation. There's a decision that's being made around you by third parties. And I feel as though you are protected, and I feel as though you've earned your place. I don't know if that makes sense to you specifically, but I do feel as though you've earned your place, whatever that means. So this is a wonderful position for this card. This means that like the best energy in the world is blessing you and protecting you to move forward. And in fact, you've kind of connected to a community that's protecting you. There's this full, your quality as an individual has been recognized. Now, if you're a man watching this, then your wife could be extremely important for you at this time, or your feminine qualities could be coming through really strong. There's a woman, she's a Leo, who's protecting your honor. There's a protection of your honor in a dignified way. I feel as though a great change is upon you now, and change, transformation that you have to face. Something that you initiated in the past. It came from the initiation in the past. This is what's the problematic thing that is afflicting this future, is that the change in the past was motivated in some way by a lack of recognition, a lack of discernment for the true authenticity of a situation or circumstance. And so there was a lack of alignment with regards to an understanding for a situation. Like you passed the judgment too fast, and when you passed judgment really fast, you had initiated a sequence of events that wasn't authentic to the real resonance of a situation. And so you initiated this direction in a new course, and it's pretty good overall, but there's some consequences with having your kind of blindfolds on, not seeing exactly, not allowing yourself to see, not refusing to see the truth of a situation in some way. This could have been with a relationship, this could have been with a situation, this could have been with a lot of different circumstances in some way that kind of stopped your way, stopped your progress. And so it's not necessarily such a bad thing. This could have been a response to a Capricorn, but not necessarily so. This is way more refusing to see the truth, refusing to see the true nature of a situation, and maybe through some ambition. There could have been zealous ambition, just really hopeful to get going in a certain direction. This could have been a previous marriage or a previous relationship that wasn't well thought through. So you had begun a relationship that was not fully thought through, that you were more ambitious in seeing what you're going to get, and maybe just really trying to get a partner and connect with a partner, and now you're still kind of dealing with the consequences of that. That came up in the first reading overall for the entire year. So watch out for that. There could have been a facet of that. But the oncoming energy, see, it's leaving you kind of dealing with certain consequences. These are not easy cards. The Last Judgment, the Moon, the Tower, the Hanged Man. So I feel as though your relationship with a certain structure and order is changing. And with a certain community, your relationship to a community is changing, and you're ready to go a different direction because there's nothing there for you anymore. This could have been a church group, this could have been a school, this could have been any kind of institution that had in some way seemed so divine and perfect, and yet from the inside of these halls, inside of this building, there was just vacant space and debris, and it was padded walls, that kind of thing. True. And it was going to lead you to bad things. It was going to lead you to circumstances that you don't want. And here again we have the Hanged Man. This is where we had Temperance before in the first reading. in this kind of area of your life. I feel as though there's this continuation of a relationship that you've got entangled with. So there's a relationship that you got stuck in, that there's an alignment, a relationship that you may feel not fully comfortable with, a relationship that the other party may not feel fully comfortable in, and yet you have this joint responsibility. It could be, I don't feel as it's strong as children. For some of you it is going to be children, but for many of you it's going to be like a dog or cat, or maybe you bought some property together, or maybe you did a project together, and now you have to kind of deal with each other and close out that situation. So I feel that that's from the past, and it has to do with your ambition and just kind of, but at the same time you have something coming through that's really strong and really good. There's like the true person with whom you're supposed to be with, or the true person that you're meant to be, is coming through and is present, is fully present and there for you. And in fact, the other person with whom you're dealing with, that you're entangled with, if you watch the first reading, it's the person I talk about as the Sagittarius, kind of feels the same way as you do, so you're just trapped in a situation with someone who you're both nice people, or just different people, different folks, different strokes, and so I feel as though there's this total different approach to things. There's a total different alignment. And let's see through 2018 whether this maintains to be peaceful. I feel as though there's a little bit of getting on each other's nerves as the theme. And this to me seems as though it may have to do with like family, home, so it's like getting on each other's nerves, but not really hating each other. You both see it for what it is. You both see it for just, you got yourself into this pickle, you made your bed, so now you have to lay in it until it's time to move along. So yeah, you feel a little stuck in the situation, but it's not the end of the world. If it's annoyance, if anything else. And I do feel as though there is, I feel as though you honed in on the direction you're meant to go, the person you're meant to be with, the connection you're meant to make. These cards here, we have the Star, the Temperance, the Chariot, and the Emperor. So I feel as though this is like the greater theme is congruence and coming together and combining various different forces in order to create something new. Nothing is lost without something being gained. And so I feel as though something had begun for you before this loss even started. And also there's an insight that you have to travel abroad. I feel as though that comes through for you really strongly in 2018, Capricorn. And you will seek fairness and order and justice and balance in the situation. Those things are coming through. There's a lot of people out there. Not everybody's nice. I know I'm I know I'm telling you a big secret here, but not everyone's nice out there. And so I think that it feels like you are dealing with people who are, you got caught up with bad people with bad intentions. Maybe that was because you had been bad in some way, or you had done something to someone in some way without maybe even intending it, but you just got caught up with this kind of energy, or maybe you just met someone who had a bad attitude. I'm not like one to believe that like you get what you deserve, that kind of thing. I think that a lot of people, really good people, get things they don't deserve. And so I'm not pointing the finger at you. I feel as though maybe in the past there was this situation where there was people around who were self-interested beyond like a healthy level, and so they were taking advantage of you, or maybe putting you in a circumstance that wasn't necessarily what you wanted it to be. And I feel as though now you're kind of tentative. You're like, whoa, all these changes are coming for me. Change and transformation. I have to make big decisions. I have to grow up. I have to kind of get with the program. And I think that you're going to make that change. So I have the Cosmic Tarot to clarify with for you today. Ooh, what do we have on the bottom but the Death card? This is the card of Scorpio. This is the card of change and transformation. Let's see. At the center of the reading is the Empress. So let's clarify her first. So we have the Seven of Wands. So this is sticking up for your belief system. That's right, because we saw the first reading for the first part of the year, for the entire year, and it was really about seeing your vision vis-a-vis competing community stuff that was working out for you quite well. Let's see. So let's clarify the Hermit. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's clarify the Chariot. There's an overcoming. There could be a Cancer person with whom you have a really good connection with this year, a sexual connection. There's a Five of Wands, a struggle to overcome situations. You know what's necessary that you have to do in order to overcome circumstances, but there's things that hold you back. I think that you're a very moral person this year. There's like a lot of moral decisions that you have to make, and it's like, do you feel really comfortable making these decisions? Let's clarify the Moon. So we have the Fool. Where's the Fool here? Where is the Fool? There he is. It's right here. So that's your destiny. I would say you will go in that direction. That's the direction you're meant to go, a new beginning. It's a fresh new beginning, you know? And then the next message, the Ace of Wands. And I picked it for this card. So I feel as though the energy that's oncoming for you is non-negotiable. Like you can he and haw, and you can wonder about where things will go or how things will develop, but the energy's coming for you, for sure. Okay. Let's see the Death card. Princess of Wands. A Sag, Leo, or Aries. An inspiration of something new. There's someone else and you are looking for something. There's like a desire to take something and make it yours, and I feel as though there's an inspiration to move forward in a particular direction. Here is the next message, the Ace of Cups, a new relationship that's coming through for you. Oh, she's hidden by the flower. Okay. So, so we have the Ace of Cups, new relationship. I feel as though for many of you, this will be a birth in your family, a very significant thing, very well positioned, very well disposition, very positive disposition, fully supportive, you know, kind of got your back, passionate, honest, supreme honesty. Whereas here in the past, I didn't feel as though there was a lot of honesty. There wasn't a lot of dishonesty either, but I feel as though it wasn't like something you could fully trust in. Let's see here, the Faith card. Taurus energy, Queen of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. So look out for other people of the earth sign qualities. There's like a real bond, a union. Two heads are smarter than one. There's like a direction that you're going that's really passionate. And then there's the Wheel of Fortune, the oncoming energy here, right between the Hermit and the Death card. So yeah, so change in fortune. I feel you're coming into really wonderful things. You have the Fool, the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Cups. This is really turning out to be a beautiful reading, just like the other one. Actually, watch the first video for the entire year. The last video and this one started off in a bit of a tentative note. The emotions and feelings were somewhat tentative, and then once it started going, it got richer and more fuller in life, and really wonderful messages started coming through. So I would just suggest that you should be very excited about that. I would feel very, very excited and very inspired by the energy therein. I do want to look at the Hanged Man, because that came through in a significant position as before. Maybe something to do with the Tower. Stuck in the Emperor. So maybe there's some responsibility to a husband, or your responsibility as a husband. You know, this is maybe like, this is your time to put in for the team, you know, for the family. This is your time to kind of put in your effort towards other people. The world got the world. You're going to travel in a big way. You're going to travel in a good way towards good things. And then we had the Six of Pentacles, which is reciprocity. You give a little, you get a little in return. So you're not gonna be shortchanged in 2018. I would say my advice for you, based on both readings, is commit to the things that are right for you internally, the things that make a lot of sense for you privately, even if the outside world is not in alignment to that. So if your friends and social group question what you're doing, just don't mind them. Don't get into discussing why or how, but just keep moving forward. And I think that the oncoming energy is so bountiful and hopeful and upbeat and yeah, it's an upstart energy, a new relationship, new family relationships, stability, and kind of honor in relationships. I feel as though you find yourself a little bit lonely in the journey in 2018, but the outcome is so robust. Look at the cards. The clarifiers are the Ace of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the Emperor, the Fool, the World, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Princess of Cups, and Wheel of Fortune. So Wheel of Fortune was your ultimate outcome card, which means that things are coming around in a good direction. Capricorn, this is going to be a fabulous year. I really hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below how that worked out for you. Happy New Year again. I guess we're talking about mid-year already, so I hope you guys are having a nice spring and summer. I will talk with you soon. Take care. Bye. Guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to your reading for the new moon in Scorpio. So I decided to do this a very special way. We have a couple different transits, as you guys know, are happening right next to each other. If you've watched my November readings, you'll know about that. But we are going through a new moon, a nodal change, and excuse me, Jupiter moving into Sagittarius. So there's a lot of shifts that are going on together, and actually the first energy that is going to trigger a series of transformations is the new moon. So before we find out what sign I'm reading for, I'm going to take a minute to take a minute to do the 3-card reading for you guys to see what the general energy is. So your first card is the Four of Pentacles. This is the Mary L Tarot. And then we have the Chariot, which is the sign of Cancer. And then we have, in this light, these cards look so amazing, the Seven of Pentacles. I feel as though there's a general energy that you're leaving behind at this time, and that is one of holding back and not allowing certain energy to come through. So you have been resilient towards making progress, maybe for your own reasons. People get down on this card, but I don't necessarily think it's such a bad message. Sometimes in life we just have to take pause. Like if you're hiking in the mountains, you have to stop at each elevation, not only to sleep, but to allow your body to adjust to the new altitude. Do you see the star up here? It's really beautiful. So I feel like maybe for whatever reason you have felt a need to stop and pause and pay attention to the environment. But now the signal is coming through, and the signal is that you are meant to go and prosper, to move forward in whatever direction is calling you. So it's time to stop, and really move forward again with what your ambition is or where you want to see things go. I feel like there is a lot of messages that are coming to you now, maybe through Cancer people with Sun, Moon, or Rising, or maybe just through the universe, that you are meant to move forward now. And then the oncoming energy is the Seven of Pentacles, in which you are in some way asked to move forward through work. So we have the Four of Pentacles, which we saw here, and then there's the Three of Pentacles, which designates work and effort. And so I feel like this is the time to employ effort in order to set forward towards a new horizon. There's a sunrise, a moonrise. It looks like a sunrise there, maybe even an eclipsed sun. But there's like a direction, a goal that you are setting off on. These readings are a little bit metaphysical, but I hope that you like it. So first we're gonna do a little bit of a astrology reading, and then I'll do more tarot. How about that? And then we're going to do very deep astrology on Vimeo, which is linked down below, including stars and asteroids. Okay, so the sign we are reading for is Aquarius. Hey girl, hey. You guys have been coming up in readings last, and now you're right at the front, so it's your turn to move forward again. I feel as though Aquarians have had a very, very hard transit recently, and I'm very happy that you are working your way through that, and I wish you all the best with that. What you're not seeing here is Lilith right in the middle of your sign, and the South Node is about to leave Aquarius and move into your 12th house. And boy, oh boy, you've really had a big dose of releasing energy in the last 2 months, right? So the new moon is happening in your area of career. And so here we have the sun and the moon in a conjunction in Scorpio. That's the new moon right there. And Jupiter is also in the last degree, last minutes of Scorpio. Look, 52 minutes. So there's 60 minutes in a degree. So really in the last few minutes of Scorpio, there's this burst of energy that in some area in your area of career and your public life opens up and facilitates for you change and transformation. So that's a very powerful moment. And then Jupiter will carry that into your 11th house, bringing a lot of people into your life. We'll do a separate video for Jupiter transit into Sagittarius. But Jupiter is an aspect to the nodes. It's an aspect to the North Node in your 7th house of partnership, romance and business, and the South Node, which is finishing up its transit of your 1st house, in which you've gone through a major catharsis of the self. You've uprooted yourself. You've changed who you are. You've immersed yourself in becoming a different person, not only within your lifetime, but also past lives and past experiences. Okay? And Jupiter is creating a very powerful sextile. A sextile is like a door opening. So right before Jupiter moves into Scorpio and your 1st house South Node moves into Capricorn, there will be a door opening that will free up who you are just a little bit more. It's almost like weightlifters, you know, when they push their reps. In the last few reps, it's so hard to do it, but that's where kind of the magic happens, right? So I feel like you should be fully immersed in your environment at this time and allow the transformation to come to you through your public life, and be humble enough to understand what the lessons are in your personality. This is probably a once in a lifetime transit, so you should really appreciate it for what it's bringing to you. And that is removing things from within your personality that are stopping you from progress. It's multi-life kind of transit. So it's really a special moment for you. And Jupiter is also creating a trine, right, to the North Node in your 7th house of partnership. And it's saying, go there, Aquarius. It's a beacon. It's like, go over there. Go in this direction of partnership. Whether you have a partner or not, it's going to make that very clear for you. And with the new moon, we also have a sextile right here to Pluto and Vesta. Vesta is like your natural ability, a predisposition, awareness, consciousness. And so that is in a conjunction with Pluto, which is your deep karma. Not only past life karma, which is signaled by the South Node, it's more to do with cosmic karma. So Pluto, in aspect to Vesta, is creating a trine or sextile, to the moon and the sun. This is a deep spiritual awareness from beyond you as an individual that's coming through and giving you light and information about where to go in life. So if you want to take this deeper, and if you're curious about the asteroids, and if you're curious about the fixed stars, I'll talk about that more. But just rest assured that this new moon in Scorpio is going to bring bounty and possibility and luck into your life. So there's nothing to fear here, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at your tarot cards. The second set of tarot cards I'm going to pick for you guys is the Syrian Starseed, of course. Of course. It was like, time to pull out the big guys. Okay, so let's take a look. Your first message is the Seeker of Flames. Okay, lots of people are getting Seekers. The Seeker of Flames. Okay. The second card is the Adept of Crystals. Okay. Ooh, big cards, Aquarius. And then you have Transition. Wow. Okay, so there's going to be a huge shift in transition with regard to your public life, with regard to your circumstances. And this is oriented towards two people. This Seeker of Flames, who is a Sag, a Leo, or an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and the Adept of Crystals, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And I feel as though this is a time in which you are meant to let go of your attachment to these individuals and set forward in a new journey. You're meant to go in a new direction, in a new journey. You're ascending. You're going to a new path. And I feel as though these relationships are now in some way de-escalating in your life. That doesn't mean that you're losing them. It just means that the priority of these relationships becomes secondary. And at the same time, these energies for you facilitate the transformation that you are undertaking. So you're, in some way, don't be stressed, be blessed. Blessed, don't be stressed. I feel as though key events have happened with you and each of these individuals that have led you to this change and transformation. And I feel as though, you know, when something that was once good for you becomes a crutch, this is the type of situation I think that has happened. There has become and evolved a codependency between you and other people, these people specifically, because they have been so comforting and comfortable for you. And now it's time for you to move forward and move ahead and make a transformation in your life, in your public life. And so what that means is that you're meant to take a step forward. Take a step forward in a new direction and embrace the possibilities. Who knows where you're going to go? Who knows where you're going to end up? Okay? So for your video on Vimeo, I'm going to pick 4 cards from The Art of Love. The Art of Love. And I feel like in some way you're supposed to really fight the inclination to feel bad about this situation. I think that you should see it from a holistic perspective and really see that this is a larger part of a greater transformation that you are ready for. You're really ready to embark. And I feel like when you are moving in this new direction, the new area in which you are going to is kind of a blank space, a blank canvas for you to fill. And so I feel like the direction that you're going is very empowering, and it's going to allow you to become the new version of yourself. It's time to wander again, Aquarius, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I will talk to you soon, and have a wonderful new moon. Take care, guys. Bye. Transformation is possible in those areas of your life. The first card that I have for you is the story cards, and here we have the well-being card. See, really positive well-being, hope, and joy coming for you through the full moon. Next we see the Tarot Carnival, and so here we have the Empress. So this represents the mother. It can represent yourself, it can represent a partner, but you're really kind of feeling well within yourself and your body and being, really stepping into the light side of Scorpio, the one that's alive and full of life. Express your love. Go ahead and make a romantic gesture. So it's really important for you to put yourself out there, Scorpio. I feel as though that there's a lot of area to be received well and on a day-to-day basis, but even through this full moon season, the 3 days before the full moon and the eclipse and the 3 days after, you're going to be really shining bright and you're going to be feeling well about yourself. I think confidence is coming back to you, and I think that you're kind of stepping into your own again.